Number 15. Joliet. The story of Joliet, the real haunted doll, began 4 generations ago. Joliet is no ordinary doll. She carries a curse that has haunted the daughters and mothers of one unfortunate family for decades. Passed down from mother to daughter, Joliet is a legacy no one would ever wish for. Each daughter, upon receiving the doll, would grow up playing with it, completely unaware that the curse had already taken hold. They loved the doll. They cherished it. But the price was devastating. When these daughters became adults, they would go on to have children of their own, 1 girl and 1 boy. But the boy never survived. Each time, the son died at just 3 days old. Some believe it's the spirits of these lost baby boys that now dwell inside the doll, whispering, crying, cursing the next generation of daughters to follow the same fate. And yes, this gets even creepier. At night, the sound of infants crying can be heard coming from the doll. Not just one baby, many. Sometimes soft, pitiful weeping, and other times, a chilling, blood-curdling wail. Anna, one of Joliet's most recent owners, explained how the curse has been passed along in her family. She also shared the chilling origin behind it. As I have been told by my mother, Anna said, the cursed doll was given to my great-grandmother by a jealous friend when she was pregnant with her second child, a boy. He also died at 3 days old. Though the curse is clear to Anna, she refuses to part with Joliet. In her mind, the doll is part of their family, and so are the lost souls within it. She plans to one day hand Joliet down to her own daughter. We have not tried to get rid of it, Anna explains, because we know the souls of our lost sons are trapped inside, and we do not want them to come to any harm. Over the years, the family has consulted with psychics, mediums, priests, and paranormal investigators. Every one of them told Anna she was crazy, but she's convinced. Deep down, she believes her family was meant to carry this curse, to care for Joliet forever. Now let me ask you, do you have a fear of dolls? Let me know in the comments with a simple yes or no. And hey, it's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to like this video, thank you. It really helps us out. Number 14. Patty Reed's doll. Patty Reed's doll isn't creepy because it's haunted. It's creepy because of the horrors it silently witnessed. In 1846, Patty Reed was just 8 years old when her family set out on a journey to California. They weren't alone. They traveled with a group of pioneers known as the Donner Party. The expedition west was meant to bring hope, opportunity, a new life. Instead, it became one of the most infamous tragedies in American history. The Donner Party became trapped by heavy snow in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Supplies ran low. Hunger took hold. Starvation began to claim lives. As desperation set in, the group ate anything they could find. Mice, bones, strips of leather, and eventually each other. Yes, when hope ran dry, some members turned to cannibalism. It's not just rumor. It's a well-documented historic fact. And through it all, Patty's doll was there, watching, silent, unblinking. The entire Reed family survived that horrific ordeal, which inevitably means they too resorted to cannibalism. As the journey continued, the Reeds were forced to lighten their load. They told their children to throw away anything that wasn't necessary, including toys. But Patty couldn't do it. She loved her doll too much. So she hid it tucked carefully under her full, poofy dress. She carried it the rest of the way to California. When the Reeds finally reached San Jose, they went on to live a quiet, normal life. No more starvation. No more snow. No more cannibalism. But the doll still knows. Though it's not believed to be cursed or haunted, Patty Reed's doll remains a chilling reminder of what her family endured and the horrible choices they had to make to survive. You can still see the doll today. It's on display in Sacramento at Sutter's Fort State Historical Park Museum. A small, delicate toy that has seen unspeakable things. Number 13. Harold. Harold the Haunted Doll has a long and disturbing history. Made in the early 1900s, the doll was crafted from water, plaster, and composite materials. Time has not been kind to it. Harold looks worn, beaten, and maybe even angry. It's traveled the world. And according to many, it hasn't just witnessed strange things, it may have caused them. Owners of the doll have reported terrifying experiences, changes in Harold's facial expression, sudden movements, and eerie, disembodied voices. Some have even suffered strong migraines, intense back pain, and mysterious injuries while owning the doll. 2 people are said to have died because of Harold. In 2004, a man named Anthony Quinata purchased the doll on eBay. At first, he was curious, but the paranormal activity quickly escalated and it terrified him. Eventually, Anthony locked the doll away in storage. He left it untouched for 8 years. Later, a paranormal team began investigating the doll. During their research, something strange kept happening. The words guilt and worry would appear again and again, unexplained and unsettling. Even more disturbing? Voices, laughter, and blood-curdling screams were heard coming from the doll. Some of the investigators fell seriously ill. Others became confused and disoriented. A few said they felt like they were being physically attacked. Many now believe that Harold is more than just haunted. They think something evil lives inside him. An entity. A presence. Something dark. And Harold is just its shell. Number 12. Annabelle. Most people wouldn't find a Raggedy Ann doll particularly creepy. That is, until they've seen The Conjuring. The disturbing doll featured in the movie Annabelle was based on a real, possessed object from the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren, 2 of the most famous paranormal investigators in history. The real Annabelle didn't look like the sinister porcelain figure from the film. She was just a simple Raggedy Ann doll. But don't let appearances fool you. In the 1970s, a mother bought the doll as a gift for her college-aged daughter, Donna. At first, it seemed like an innocent decoration for her apartment. But it didn't stay that way. Soon, Donna and her roommate began to notice something strange. The doll would change positions on its own. They assumed it was just their imagination until things escalated. One day, after returning to their apartment, they found Annabelle had moved. She was no longer on the couch. She was now sitting on a bed across the room. That's when Lou, a friend of Donna's, began voicing his concerns. He felt the doll wasn't just creepy. It was disturbed. But Donna and her roommate tried to rationalize it. Surely there was a logical explanation. Then came the notes. Donna began finding scraps of parchment paper scattered around the apartment. Paper no one owned. On the scraps, disturbing messages were scrawled in childlike handwriting. "Help Lou. Help us." Still, the girls hesitated to act. But that changed the day Donna found Annabelle lying in her bed, with what looked like blood oozing from her hands. Shaken, Donna finally called in a medium. The medium sensed a spirit attached to the doll. She explained that the apartment building had once been a field. Years ago, a young girl named Annabelle Higgins had been found dead there. According to the medium, Annabelle's spirit had never left. When the doll was brought into the apartment, the girl's spirit latched onto it. She said the spirit trusted Donna and felt safe with her. Donna felt a strange sense of comfort, but it wouldn't last. Lou, who had been wary from the beginning, began experiencing nightmares. In one dream, Annabelle climbed onto his chest and tried to choke him. He would wake up gasping, drenched in sweat. One night, while visiting Donna and her roommate Angie, Lou heard noises coming from Donna's room. It sounded like an intruder. He rushed to the door and flung it open. There was no one there, just Annabelle sitting in the corner. Lou cautiously stepped inside. As he moved closer, he felt a cold presence behind him. He spun around. Nothing. Suddenly, a searing pain tore through his chest. He lifted his shirt. 3 deep, bloody claw marks were raked across it. Lou was convinced. Annabelle was dangerous. Desperate, the girls contacted an Episcopalian priest who referred them to Ed and Lorraine Warren. After investigating, the Warrens concluded that it wasn't the spirit of a child inhabiting the doll, but a demonic entity. The demon's goal wasn't to possess the doll. It wanted to possess Donna. A priest was called to perform an exorcism. After the ritual, the Warrens took the doll with them. But the entity wasn't finished. Back at the Warrens' home, Annabelle began levitating. She would disappear and reappear in other rooms. They tried another exorcism, but it failed. In the end, the Warrens built a special glass case to contain her. And that's where Annabelle remains to this day. Locked away in the Warren Occult Museum. Waiting. Watching. Number 11. Voodoo Zombie Doll. In October 2004, a woman from Texas made a chilling mistake. She purchased a voodoo zombie doll from New Orleans through eBay. The doll arrived bound tightly in a small silver metal box. A strange warning came with it, one she didn't take seriously. Curious and unaware of what she was about to unleash, she opened the box. She wanted to display the doll. But the moment it was freed, the doll attacked her. Terrified, she forced the doll back into its case, sealing it shut. But the nightmare was only beginning. That night, the doll entered her dreams. Over and over again, it haunted her sleep, its face burned into her mind. She began to feel like she was never alone. The air in her home grew heavy, dark. Desperate to rid herself of the doll, she tried burning it. But the flames had no effect. The doll was immune to fire. She grabbed a knife, determined to destroy it once and for all. The blade snapped in two. Panicking, she took it to a cemetery, hoping to bury it where it belonged with the dead. But even that didn't work. Days later, the doll somehow crawled from its shallow grave and appeared once more on her front doorstep. She couldn't take it anymore. She listed the doll for resale on eBay, hoping someone else would take it off her hands. Someone did. She packaged it up and shipped it out. But soon after, the doll was back again, waiting on her porch. The buyer claimed the box had arrived, empty. No doll. She sent it again. This time, she triple-sealed the box. Again, the package reached its destination, and again, the doll was missing. It had returned to her. She wasn't the only one to have encountered the doll's strange behavior. The original seller finally responded and confirmed what she now feared. The voodoo zombie doll was truly alive. They had warned buyers never to open the silver case. The doll was cursed, dangerous, and was never to be freed. But she hadn't listened. Instead, she had planned to investigate it, maybe even write a book about haunted items and the strange energy they carried through the mail. When she tried to contact the seller again, there was no answer. Eventually, she received a note saying the seller had passed away. Out of options, she turned to the church. A priest was brought in to bless the box and banish the evil spirit. But even his blessing couldn't drive the force out. The doll's power held fast inside. At last, the woman sealed the silver case shut once more and locked it deep in her attic. And there it has remained, for over 2 years. Waiting, watching, refusing to be forgotten. Number 10. The Pulo Ubin Barbie. This doll might not be skin-crawlingly creepy, but the supernatural powers it's believed to hold definitely are. On Pulo Ubin, an island in Malaysia, sits a strange Barbie doll idol inside a temple that is over 117 years old. This isn't just any Barbie. She's adorned with a necklace, bracelet, and garland. Each week, people from all over flock to the temple to worship her. The doll is believed to possess healing powers and the ability to grant vast fortunes to worshippers. But before we dive deeper into that, let's talk about the temple itself and the mysterious history behind the German girl shrine where the doll now resides. There are 2 different versions of how the shrine was established. One story says that before World War II, a German couple lived on the island. The man was drafted into the army and forced to leave. Somehow, their daughter was abandoned on Pulo Ubin. When Japanese soldiers invaded, the girl hid in a cave. Tragically, she was found dead there, starved and alone. The villagers set up the shrine in her memory. Another version tells a different tale. The girl's German parents were captured by Japanese soldiers during the war. Though the girl managed to escape, she didn't survive long. She fell from a cliff to her death. Again, the villagers built the shrine to appease her restless spirit. For years, an urn sat on the altar of the shrine. But more than 6 years ago, something changed. A local resident began having the same recurring dream 3 nights in a row. In the dream, a Caucasian girl appeared. She guided him to a store, instructing him to buy a Barbie doll. The girl told him to place the doll on the shrine's altar. At first, he almost ignored the dream. But when he found the exact store in real life, the same Barbie doll was there, just as he had seen in his visions. He bought the doll and placed her on the shrine's altar. From that day on, droves of women began visiting to worship. What do worshippers offer in exchange for wealth, health, and success? Perfumed water, nail polish, lipstick, cosmetics. Even a supernatural Barbie can be a little superficial. Every weekend, mostly middle-aged women come to the temple to pray in front of the doll. On the doll's anniversary, 40 to 50 worshippers gather, both locals and tourists. They pray for many things: wealth, healing, success. Some ask Barbie to bless perfumed water, hoping it will cure body aches and pains. Many worshippers say their prayers have been answered by this mysterious, supernatural Barbie. Number 8. Pupa, the haunted doll. A paranormal investigator who specializes in haunted dolls and doll-related items has declared that Pupa, the doll, is indeed haunted. Some children have wild imaginations. They think their dolls are their friends. Some might even blame a misdeed on one of their very own friends. But what happens when the blame is actually warranted? What happens when a doll comes to life and starts to terrorize its owner and everyone in the home? Pupa wasn't exactly a terror, but she was definitely creepy. Not only did she move on her own inside her glass display case, but she would also push things around inside it. When Pupa's original owner passed away in 2005, the doll became even more lively. It seemed like Pupa wanted freedom from her display case. The family claims she would tap on the glass or move around inside the case. If someone walking by heard the noise and looked, they would find the doll's hand pressed against the glass, or Pupa in a different position than just moments before. The doll was made to look exactly like its Italian owner as a child. This is a tradition in certain parts of Italy. Sometimes, the doll is even made with the child's real hair or hair purchased for the doll maker to use. Pupa belonged to the latter group. The doll's owner had Pupa from the time she was 5 or 6 years old in the 1920s until the day she died in 2005. Like her owner, the doll was a survivor of World War II. It could have been destroyed many times. Pupa was a world traveler too, crossing the Atlantic to America, then back to Italy to tour Europe before finally returning to the United States. The doll's owner claimed Pupa had a mind of her own. She said the doll had been her best friend. She even told her grandchildren that Pupa spoke to her and at one point saved her life. The paranormal investigator confirmed that the doll was lively. Pupa changed positions by herself and even altered the expression on her face. Her eyes seemed to follow people around the room. Sometimes the eyes would widen or narrow, almost reflecting her state of mind. Pupa was a best friend and confidant, all in doll form. Creepy and sweet at the same time. Number 7. Letta the Gypsy Doll. What would you expect to find beneath an ancient, secluded haunted house? Bones? A dungeon? Or maybe a hand-carved gypsy doll? Well, Kerry Walton found a 200-year-old doll, and, as you might guess, it was haunted. The spirit believed to inhabit the doll was said to throw anyone who looked at it into hysterics. Kerry was in his early 20s when he went home for a funeral in Wagga Wagga. He had long carried a lingering fear about a supposedly haunted house down the street. One night, determined to face his childhood fear, he entered the house. In the cellar, Kerry found a trapdoor. He opened it and, shining his flashlight through a thick cloud of dust, crawled down into the darkness. As he moved cautiously around the house's supports, he suddenly spotted a pair of eyes staring at him. They were set deep in the face of what looked like a dead child, or at least, that's how it appeared. The old marionette was skin-crawlingly creepy. But Kerry tucked it under his arm and hurried out of the house. When he got home, he placed the doll in the lounge and went to bed. But he couldn't stop thinking about the creepy doll. Eventually, he bagged it up and put it under the house. Kerry wanted to sell Letta, but at the last minute he changed his mind. He realized the doll had a special hold on him. He wanted to learn more about it. He took the doll to a museum. They told him the nails used in the doll's construction dated it at around 200 years old. They also said the doll's style was Eastern European. The creepy marionette had human hair. Under its scalp, a fake brain was found. Kerry then took the doll to some psychics. One psychic told him the doll was carved by a doll maker in the likeness of his deceased son who had drowned at 6 years old. As sometimes happens, dolls can hold onto the souls of their owners after death. This particular doll was said to contain the soul of the young boy. The doll's full name is Letta Meout. Letta is short for marionette. Although the child's soul didn't seem malicious, that didn't stop people and animals from fleeing from it. Letta's eyes appeared fearful and sad. Dogs barked hysterically around it. Viewers often gasped aloud when looking at the doll. When held, Letta is said to sometimes feel like it is pulsing. And like many haunted dolls, it also moves on its own. Number 6. Crystal, True, Monica, Charla, Isaac, Lily, Ashley, and Cameron. This truly creepy clan of possessed porcelain dolls belongs to a family living in rural Pennsylvania. The family members are paranormal investigators themselves. They purposefully purchased these haunted dolls, fully aware of their eerie reputations. Because of this, they set up cameras aimed at the dolls to monitor them 24/7, capturing every move. The owners both care for the dolls and study them closely. Thanks to the continuous camera footage, the strange happenings involving these dolls are always recorded. Some say that, back in 2009, the apparition of a little boy appeared on the bottom step of their home. Aside from that, the dolls have been known to move on their own from time to time. If you watch closely, you might catch other unsettling or creepy events as well. Number 5. Mandy is no ordinary doll. In 1991, this antique doll found a new home at the Canal Museum. With a torn body, dirty clothing, a cracked head, and not much else, Mandy looked like she had seen better days. At around 90 years old, Mandy carried an eerie presence. Her most unusual power was the ability to emit the sound of a crying baby. The doll's late owner would often wake in the middle of the night, hearing the sound of a baby crying from downstairs. When she went to investigate, she would find a window left open with a curtain blowing gently in the breeze. After donating Mandy to the museum, the crying stopped. But that didn't mean the doll was done causing mischief. At the museum, strange things began to happen. Lunches would disappear only to reappear in bizarre places. Pens, pictures, and books also went missing without explanation. Unexplained footsteps echoed through the halls. When Mandy was first placed in the entryway, her cracked face and eerie smile scared visitors away. So, staff moved her to her own separate case, worried she might damage other dolls. Visitors claim that Mandy's eyes follow them as they move, and some say the eye. Number 4. Marie Laveau, the famous voodoo queen, rose to prominence in New Orleans. Her clientele changed over time, from country folk and people of color to wealthy Creoles and Americans. During her work, she found herself visiting an elegant mansion on Dauphine Street. There, she met Camille, the family's beautiful young daughter. Camille was courted by many Creole suitors, but it wasn't until she ventured into the American quarter that she met Mackenzie Bowes, a Scotsman rumored to come from old money and obscene wealth. Camille and Bowes fell deeply in love, or so it seemed. But one Creole suitor, Etienne Lafayette Mathieu, refused to let Camille go. He visited Marie Laveau's cottage and demanded help to get Camille back. When Laveau refused, Mathieu angrily declared, "Then I want her dead." Laveau warned him he would pay dearly for such a curse, but Mathieu insisted she should make Camille suffer as he had suffered. The voodoo queen sent Mathieu to gather items needed for the curse. In October, Camille and Bowes were married and New Orleans high society attended the lavish wedding and reception. All except Marie Laveau, who was busy preparing her dark curse. After the honeymoon, Camille returned pregnant and the couple began planning a nursery for their child near the French market on Rue Bourbon. But dark dreams plagued Bowes and Camille's mother, Adelaide. Bowes would wake crying out for Camille, but never shared the content of his nightmares. Concerned, Adelaide sought Marie Laveau's help to interpret the dreams. Laveau warned that the unborn child was at risk and that she should deliver the baby herself. She claimed Bowes harbored a dark secret and was a mystery to everyone. Adelaide agreed, and when Camille went into labor, Laveau was called. The delivery was difficult. Bowes begged to be in the room, but Laveau refused. Unable to bear it, Bowes fled into the night, just as Camille tragically died during childbirth. Laveau comforted the family, telling them the child survived, but that a curse lay upon him. When she revealed the baby, horror struck the room. Where hair should have been, 2 lumps hinted at horns about to break through the scalp. The infant had claws for hands and feet, scales covering its body, and eyes burning like hellfire. No one in the family wanted the cursed child. Bowes, driven mad by grief, was unable to care for his son. So, Marie Laveau took the baby with her. On the way home, she saw Mathieu lurking in the shadows, deformed and crippled, with a face as ugly as sin. The voodoo queen had warned Mathieu he would regret killing Camille, and indeed, he did. Though this tale doesn't speak of a doll, it inspired an artist to craft a terrifying doll in the devil baby's likeness, skin-crawling and haunting to behold. Number 3. The infamous Chucky doll from the movies is actually based on a true story. Robert Eugene Otto, an author and painter, claimed that his nurse put a voodoo curse on one of his dolls. The script of Child's Play is a loose reinterpretation of this haunted doll's story. The real cursed doll, known as Robert the Enchanted Doll or Robert the Haunted Doll, is now a key attraction on ghost tours in Key West. Robert has woolen or yarn hair and wears a sailor's outfit from the early 1900s. Eugene received the doll in 1906 from a family servant who wanted to cause harm to the Otto family. This servant was skilled in black magic and seemed to have succeeded. Neighbors claimed to have seen Robert moving from room to room through windows when no one was home. Eugene's parents heard him talking to the doll. When the Otto family moved away, the doll haunted those who moved into the house afterward. After Eugene died, the new family's young daughter saw Robert in her room at night. She said the doll intended to kill her. Sound familiar? Although Chucky looks nothing like Robert, they are both equally creepy. Child's Play is a slasher film series about a mother who gives her son a doll possessed by the soul of a notorious Chicago serial killer. In the movie, the killer's soul enters the doll after a shootout with a detective named Mike Norris in a toy shop. That night, the boy's babysitter is killed after being slammed in the face with a hammer and falling out a window, making the boy, Andy, a suspect. The next day, Chucky orders Andy to go downtown because the killer wants to confront a so-called friend who betrayed him. Chucky turns on the gas stove and causes an explosion when the friend shoots at it. Andy is again suspected and sent to a mental hospital. Chucky then tries to escape the doll's body by possessing Andy, the first person who learned about him. Meanwhile, Mike and Andy's mother discover that the serial killer's soul can only be destroyed by shooting the heart. After much violence and many near-death scenes, Mike finally shoots Chucky in the heart, seemingly killing the soul. Or so the story goes until the next installment. Number 2. This story isn't exactly about a doll, but rather a work of art that contains a doll. A haunted painting, sold on eBay, is said to bring fear, screaming, and sickness to anyone who looks at it. The painting shows a skin-crawlingly creepy doll. The artist, Bill Stoneham, titled it "The Hands Resist Him." He painted it in 1972. In the year 2000, the painting was sold on eBay, but with a serious warning about owning the cursed artwork. The Hands Resist Him is considered one of the most haunted pieces of art in the world. In the painting, the creepy doll stands next to a child in front of a glass door. Past owners claim that at night, the figures in the painting move around inside the frame. Sometimes they even vanish completely from the canvas. Some people say the boy steps out of the painting and creeps into the room where it hangs. Those who gaze upon the painting often feel weak. Others feel a blast of hot air or the sensation of unseen hands grabbing them. Children have been known to run away screaming when near the painting. Some claim that prints cannot be made from the painting, and others say that even viewing it online leaves them feeling sick with horror. The artist, Bill Stoneham, was surprised to hear these stories. An art gallery that displayed the piece told him it was under paranormal investigation. Adding to the mystery, Stoneham revealed that 2 people who reviewed the painting passed away within a year of seeing it. Number 1. The Okika doll has been a center of mystery and creepiness in Japan for decades. It is said to be possessed by the spirit of a child. The doll is named after the child who once owned it, a little girl named Okiku. Okiku's doll wears a traditional kimono and it has a strange, unsettling feature: its hair grows. Since 1938, the doll has lived at Minenji Temple in Iwamisawa. According to the temple, Okiku's hair was originally short and cropped, but over the years it has grown long all the way down to the doll's knees. This is despite frequent trims. The story begins in 1918 when Eikichi Suzuki bought the doll as a souvenir for his 2-year-old sister, Okiku. The little girl adored the doll. Sadly, Okika died of a cold the very next year. Grief-stricken, the family placed the doll atop the altar in their home, praying to it often. Not long after, the family noticed the doll's hair had begun to grow. The cause of the hair growth remains a mystery to this day. The family took it as a sign that Okika's spirit was alive inside the doll. When they moved in 1938, they gave the doll to the temple, where it has remained ever since.